Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here on Tuesday the 25th of August. This is your look ahead video, and we kick off first of all, as we do through August, with a reminder about our WeatherWeb Macmillan appeal. Now this is because weatherweb.net is free of charge. We've used it for the last year completely free of charge, so we ask you to make a donation to Macmillan. Now we're within a whisker of achieving our target of £1,500. You can go to justgiving.com/weatherweb to make your donation. That's justgiving.com/weatherweb, and come on, help get us over that £1,500 target. Thanks to everybody who has contributed so far. Now, I've been talking about the possibility of high pressure building into next week, into the early parts of September. That's still looking like it may well happen. I'm just playing a real cautious game because I haven't been burnt so many times through the summer with the prospect of high pressure building. Although always saying that it didn't look like it was going to last long, I'm quite reticent really to push it too hard. But this is what the CFS has got on it. This is a 5-day chunks from tropicaltidbits.com, and you notice that for the next 5 days, lower than normal heights up here, higher than normal over here. You see the trough out towards the west of the UK and the ridge off towards the east. Now if we just knock it on by a few days, so if we knock this on to the 6 to 10 day, notice there the orange colours building in, the heights tending to build right at the end of the month and into the early part of September. This is interesting to see this trough idea here the CFS has got off towards the west of Portugal. This was pretty much like earlier on in the summer, putting a low down here, trying to build a high up here, another high through here in central parts of Europe. What that does is it tends to bring the flow something like so. So it tends to bring us more into a north and northeasterly flow through the UK, makes things cooler, and the GFS seeing that as well for next week. And then days 11 to 15, normal heights then, keeps the trough down here though west of Portugal, still a weak ridge through here, so still this idea really of a very similar sort of setup, probably a slack pressure flow across the UK, may well come in on a northerly with more of a trough across Eastern Europe, something like so. I don't want to say it's high pressure over the top of us because it's not, and I don't want to say it's wall-to-wall dry and sunshine because it's not. I think there will be showers around, particularly when you're exposed to that north to northeasterly wind, and it's not going to be particularly very warm either. And then days 16 to 20, well, excuse me, again, the idea really of high pressure being north of the country up here. Look, the low shifting off down towards the south. This idea really of a east to northeasterly flow again across the UK is one that prevails during that period, the 9th to the 14th, and in fact it's still there on the 14th to the 19th of September predictions. I think this is probably pushing it a little bit too far. You've got to be wary of the CFS that it doesn't go a bit high crazy, but what it is seeing is this dominance of pressure trying to build through the month. Now that's interesting because if we just take a look, let me just get the right chart here for you. There we are. This is the one I wanted to show you. This is the August to October period. So this is essentially early autumn. Using the previous moderate El Nino year analogue. So we've looked back at previous years, we've come up with a set of analogues, and this is what happens when you mean them all together. Look, it puts higher than normal heights towards the north of the country, troughs out in the Atlantic here, but a ridge through here, trough over Eastern Europe, and it hints at higher than normal heights being dominant through autumn. Now that's not to say that it's like that all the way. This is the mean, remember, of August, September and October. So it breaks down, but it tries to go with this idea of higher than normal heights being the dominant feature to the north of the British Isles. And if I then just show you the rainfall of September's in those years, in those moderate El Nino years, notice the dry weather out here towards the west of the UK, nearer normal totals down to the south. So we're not really seeing particularly dry weather across southern and eastern parts. That's because we've got this easterly wind coming in, but also lower pressure down in the continent, throwing fronts across the south of the UK at times, but certainly makes the west drier than it has been. And temperature-wise, lower than normal down towards the south, which is what you'd expect with that low pressure being close by, near normal across the UK. But just look how warm it is across eastern parts of Europe. And that's really the sort of pattern that we're trying to pick out as we head through the next couple of weeks. And just want to show the rainfall as well across Eastern Europe. Look, dry conditions out here with that wetter stuff down here across France, as we've just seen during September. Now, what's interesting is that Gary's also picked out independently the idea of pressure trying to build and higher than normal heights through the autumn months, mainly across the north of the country. So it's interesting to see the similarities here, and it's a story that probably we have to pursue. That's not to say it's fine dry weather all the way. Again, I stress that that's not what we're saying here. What we are saying though is higher than normal heights are likely as we head through September and into autumn. Yes, there'll be breakdowns, but it's just interesting to see how this is stacking up, and there's agreement between myself and Gary's techniques that he uses, all going for this idea of the higher than normal heights and pressure building through the early parts of September. Okay, I'll keep you up to date with that, but it's just interesting, isn't it, to see. Okay, thanks again for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a great day. Keep the sun shining. Don't forget to check out Gary's Fast Forecast for the details for the next couple of days. But for now, thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.